Hello, and welcome to Heart, Mind, and Mechanics Business Coaching. This is a playlist on the From Career Woman to Business Owner channel, and welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about the fourth issue in the series. That's what's holding you back from being your own boss. Now, you can find the overview and the other questions in this series on this playlist. This is the last of the issues that we're going to be tackling in this series. And it is, what if I don't have the time? Now, usually the issue of time comes up in one of a couple of ways. It will come up if you've done the math, as we talked about in a previous video, and you find that you cannot fund the startup from any of the sources that you have, and you really need to bootstrap this by starting your business on the side. So you don't have the funds to be able to leave your career job, but you really want to start the business, so you have to do it on the side. And then the thought of doing that with everything else that's on your plate has you saying, well, what if I don't have the time? Maybe I don't have the time. Maybe this isn't the right time. And you start to question yourself. And that's a valid concern. And we're going to look at the time factor from that standpoint. We're also going to look at it from the standpoint of it's an excuse. And it's usually covering up something else that you don't really feel comfortable discussing. And then lastly, we're going to look at the issue of time, when time is not really what the problem is. It's really overwhelm. And how do we handle that? So firstly, let's look at time when it is a valid concern. So you've done all the math, you've been through the funding video, and you decided all of the things that we talked about are not going to work for you. You can't do this business full time. You have to work on it on the side, but you've got a career job, which means that you're in early in the morning, you're coming back late in the evening, then you make dinner for your family, and by the time you clean up, you're exhausted. All you can do is, watch television for an hour, listen to a podcast, and then go to bed. You just don't have the time. So what do? Well, what you do is really going to depend upon how much you really want to start that business. So let me give you an exercise that might help. If you have a lot of things on your plate, then take out a notebook and start writing down every single thing that you do. Everything. If you have children at home, making their lunches, cleaning the house, taking dry cleaning, and every single thing that you do outside of your job at work. We're going to say that the amount of time that you have available to you in your job at this point is fixed. So you can't really do anything in the hours when you're at work because you barely have time to eat lunch. But as soon as you leave work, what are all of the things that you currently feel that you're responsible for? And then once you've done that, go down through that list and look at the things that only you can do. Now, I understand that if you've got children, you feel like your children may not want to help. It doesn't matter whether or not your husband or your children or anybody else in your support system wants to help. Just go down and look at the things that only you can do, and then look at the things that other people could do. They're just not doing it. For example, could somebody else take in the dry cleaning? Could somebody else clean the house, or could you hire a service? Could you manage to scrape together the money to hire a service to come in and clean the house and leave you that Saturday morning, for example, to work on a business? Could somebody else make the children's lunch? Could somebody else do whatever it is on your list? And once you've got all that together, assuming that you have a family support system or any kind of support system, sit down with those people and say, I'm really ready to start my business. I believe that this is where my future lies. I believe that this is going to be best for all of us, and I need help while I'm building the business. And so here are the things that I really need other people to take on. And really, because this is for all of us, I need your help. And see whether or not you can get other people in the family to sign on to taking up some of these tasks. Now, if they understand that what you're doing is really going to affect their future, that there'll be more money for vacations, for example, that you won't be working 60, 70 hours a week, you'll at least be home if you're starting your business from home. And even though you'll be working hard, there'll be times when you can rearrange your schedule to go see soccer practice or violin recitals or whatever it is that you really want to do with your kids. So that's your first step. If time is really a concern, see what else you can take off your plate. You may not be able to afford to fund your entire startup, but maybe you could fund a cleaning service, or maybe you could have your groceries delivered and pay a little bit more for that. Or maybe you could bring in dinner once or twice a week and use the time that you would normally spend cooking and cleaning up to work on your business. There are different ways that you can handle this. And even if you start slowly, it's a start. And that will help you then to find other ways that you can gain momentum. So even if the only thing you can do is to start doing some research so that you can define your niche, so that you can define who it is that you want to serve, so that you can get your so-called elevator pitch or code statement or whatever it is you want to call it down on paper. All you can do is get your hero's journey together. Once you start putting these pieces together, then you can start putting together a campaign for people to get to know, like, and trust you, put together the campaign for them to understand what it is that you do, for you to start your content marketing, etc., so that you can become known as an expert in your field and then start to contact people for business. So even if all you can do is to carve out 4 or 5 hours a week, that's going to, on a consistent basis, take you a lot farther than a lot of other people who perhaps have much more time but aren't really focused when they sit down to work on whatever it is that they want to do for their business. So that is something that you can do if time is a genuine concern. And sometimes it is. You may have people, parents that you look after, you may have volunteer work that you do, and it may be that you have to give up some of the things that you like volunteer work. It really comes down to how important is it to you to build your future on the business that you want to put in place. Okay, so that's the first thing. What if time is a genuine concern? Now, second thing is, what if time is really an excuse? Well, then if in your body you think about this and you think, it's not the time, I could find the time, there's something else in there, then try to figure out what it is. It may be something as simple as you are scared to death about starting your own company. And let me reassure you, all of us have been there. Anybody who started a business without being scared didn't fully understand what they were starting and what it was going to take. So all of us have been there, where we've been scared to death some days, waking up and going, oh my God. And it may be fear in a number of areas. It may be fear of, can I really earn enough money to make this a full-time job? Can I really provide the level of service to my clients that I want to? Can I really become an expert in my field? Can I make enough money to cover the health care and the retirement benefits and everything else that I enjoy in my job? All of those things are genuine concerns and can be genuine fears. And saying that you don't have the time is simply a nice way of telling people, the reason I'm not starting my business is none of your business. That's really what it is. You don't want to discuss this with somebody else. So if you really want to start the business, but you're just terrified, then best thing to do is to find a good coach who can deal with your limiting beliefs and help you to walk through those so that you can get to a point where you're ready to start your business, even if it's on the side. And you can do some of the things that I talked about a minute ago. You can start at least figuring out your niche and figuring out who you want to serve and what you can bring to the table for that group and what your hero's journey is, and all of those other things you can start to put in place so that you can start your business on the side and decide, is this something that I really want to grow into a full-time operation so that I can leave my career job? So there are lots of coaches out there who deal with mindset. I do that when I'm dealing with my clients, and there are many other people out there who do the same thing, because all of us have limiting beliefs, and in order for us to be successful, we have to hit those limiting beliefs head on and deal with them. And it's not nearly as hard as you think. Now, the other thing that may come up when we're talking about, I don't have enough time, is it's not really time that's the issue, it's overwhelm. You have so many things that you've read, so many people that you've spoken to, so much advice floating around that you are literally in overwhelm. And the easiest thing for you to do is to say, I don't have the time. And what you're saying is, I don't have the time to learn everything that people are shoving at me. I don't have the time to work through all of the steps that you're telling me I have to take. I don't have the time to do everything that I need to do in order to create a firm foundation for my business. That's really what you're saying when you say you don't have the time. It's really overwhelm. And again, one of the best things that you can do is to get a coach or to find a program that will walk you step by step through what it is that you need to do to lay that foundation. So that instead of having the overwhelm of all of the things that people are telling you, you've got a program that says, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this, step 4, do this. And when you've got that kind of a plan laid out in front of you, then the overwhelm goes away because you're focusing on one thing at a time. So what's the first thing that you look at? Well, go back into this series, into this playlist where you say that, where I say that, I'm finally ready to be my own boss, and look at that series of questions, the 5 questions that you need to answer before you start your business. If you go through these questions and you do the work honestly, you do the research, and you're comfortable with the results, you'll lay a firm foundation for the next step in starting your business. So to get out of overwhelm, you need to have a plan. And so that if you don't have a coach or you don't have a program that you're part of, then go back to that series and look at those 5 questions. And they will lead you through, why do you want to start a business? What area do you want to be in, and who do you want to serve? That becomes your niche, right? The area that you want to be in and the people in that area that you want to serve. Where's your brilliance? What is it that you can do? And then where does your brilliance intersect with what those people really need, i.e., what can you do to remove their pain and move them along the path to get them to where they want to be? That's what you really need to decide, because you're going to build your business around that. And once you've got all of that laid out, then it becomes really simple to go on to the next step. And that overwhelm, you'll find, will go away because you've got a plan to follow. So this is the end of this series. We have the series on I'm finally ready to be my own boss, the 5 questions you need to answer before you start your business, and what's holding you back from being your own boss, the 4 things that we talked about in this series. So go through those, see if they will help you, get you in shape for you to go further. And if you are ready to move forward, then certainly you can stay on this playlist, and there will be lots more training for you. And if you would like to see whether or not I can be a good coach for you, then please go to www.wendybyford.com/explore and book a time when we can talk. That way I can get to know you, what it is that you want to do, where you are today, what's holding you back from setting up the business of your dreams, and what can we do to help you on your way. Not every person is right for every coach, and not every coach is right for every person. We want to make sure that we've got a fit, which is why we need to have a conversation, and I need to find out a little bit more about you. You need to find out a little bit more about me. So if you're ready to do that, just look at the banner below, www.wendybyford.com/explore. Just sign up and let's see whether or not we have a fit. And if you got value out of this series, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. Tell other people about it so that they can benefit as well. I would very much appreciate it. You take care, everyone, and I'll see you on the next video.